What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for Life, coming at you on YouTube, and today I've got another edition of Tales from the Fort, where I review old movies and I tell you guys whether or not they're worth watching or skipping altogether. Today I've got a fairly new movie, so I was considering this kind of a drive-in episode as well, because this is a 2017 release. This one had been talked about for the last several years. I kept seeing the poster popping up. I kept seeing a lot of my independent horror filmmaker friends talking about it, my journalist friends talking about it, reviewing it on sites. It had been in the back of my mind to watch for a long time, and finally it popped up on Tubi, and I said, I have to watch this. It's that fine line between horror and comedy. It is 2017's Pool Party Massacre. Now, this is a love letter to the old 80s kind of standard massacre, like Slumber Party Massacre, Sorority House Massacre, stuff like that, where it's just kind of a basic plot where you have... I'll get into that in a second. Let's go ahead and get to the credits here. This film was written and directed by Drew Marvick and was also starring Drew Marvick and Alexis Adams. And the basic plot is a aristocratic, kind of snobby, stuck-up girl invites her other aristocratic, snobby, stuck-up girl friends over for a pool party. And they have drinks and hang out and talk, and one by one they start getting massacred by a mysterious killer, and you just kind of go along for the ride. Now again, this is a very simplistic plot. It is a throwback to Slumber Party Massacre, where you just have random people getting slaughtered one by one. But sometimes those movies are a lot of fun. Now if you're going to watch this movie expecting a really intricate story or trying to follow this really tight mystery and stuff like that, you're not going to get what I would consider the most intelligently written thing in the history of the world. But that's okay. Sometimes you need these schlocky, campy, fun, B-movie kind of horror throwbacks that are written with. Sometimes you want to just kick back with your friends, have some beers, or just watch a fun, gory slasher film, and that's what this is. You can tell that Drew Marvick, the writer, director, and one of the stars, is a longtime horror fan who's paying homage to those kind of early 80s slashers where it's not, I mean, I guess this is a mystery, but like there's not really a whole lot of mystery aspects to it. You don't really even need to kind of know who the killer is. You just kind of sit back and enjoy the slasher and the method with which the killer is killing people. There's a lot of positives and negatives to this movie, but overall I really enjoyed it for being a simple film. The gore was really good. In a film like this, the formula is simple. You want attractive women, you want a cool killer with either a cool costume or a cool just stance, you want good weapons, and you want good gore, and you want a good soundtrack, and those basic things delivered in this movie. I really enjoyed the gore overall. Some of the kills were basic, others were a little more blood splattery, which in a film like this it really shines. And I thought the coloring of the gore was good. The layering, there's a scene where, and I guess I'll be spoiling it since this movie is 3 years old, so there will be some spoilers toward the end of this review, but I'll start spoiler free. Some stuff with intestines, insides, slit throats, stuff like that really got showcased in a positive manner, so I didn't get a chance to write down who the effects artist was, but I really did enjoy the effects in this movie. It was done, practically, so it wasn't over-the-top silly with any kind of CGI. It was done in practical effects, and it was done with care. I want to apologize for the background noise. I had to turn a fan on. I couldn't breathe very well, as you saw earlier in this video. It's very hot in this kitchen, so I had to turn my fan on. Another big positive in this movie overall were the weapons. This killer basically had a garage where he was kind of hiding out at, waiting to pick these ladies off one by one, and just continued to pull out different weapons. You just saw a screenshot of all the weapons, all the tools he used laying up against this garage, and one by one he would take the outlying tools off the wall, and that's the next tool they're going to use. It's almost like going into a video game and you equip your next weapon, and you click on it and it equips it. That's kind of what this was like. He went to the wall, put down his old weapon that was covered in blood, picked up his new one, and that's the one you knew was going to be the next weapon used in the movie. And they were all used pretty well. I mean, they were all creative. They all looked realistic. Everything was done well with that. Really enjoyed that. Some of the negatives to this, in spite of it being simplistic, was that I thought some of the scenes ran kind of long. They had a comedy character who was like funny in spots and not funny in spots. He was kind of this older, hairy guy that was trying to hit on all the girls. He showed up with his friend. he was kind of trying to get laid, so he was just like this over-the-top campy character, and sometimes the dialogue worked and sometimes it didn't. But I think in his case, some of the scenes ran kind of long. He had some conversation scenes where he was trying to like impress the ladies and oil himself up with like suntan lotion and talk about his conspiracy theories where he tried to get the girls to go inside with him. And some of those scenes just ran way too long. I mean, the runtime for this movie was a pretty svelte like hour and 20 minutes or hour and 19 minutes. It was a short film, but it could have even been 10 minutes shorter. If you wanted to just go the 1 hour route and cut down some of those dialogue heavy scenes, because they weren't really, they weren't funny, they kind of got unfunny as they went along, and they weren't really anything about plot or exposition. It was just this comedy character using his verbiage to try and get laid. So it kind of got a little stale for me. Another thing was that the main character kept saying like she doesn't want boys over, she doesn't want the couples to go in their house and have sex, stuff like that, and then 10 seconds later she goes, okay, just do whatever you want, I'm not going to let this ruin my day. So she, the main character has all these rules that she doesn't want. Her parents are out of town or whatever, so she has rules about her nice house, and she just keeps letting people abuse the rules. She says, don't do this. 10 seconds later they go do it, and she's like, whatever, it's fine. So she doesn't have much gumption to stick to in this. So I didn't like that either. It's a silly kind of a dislike, but I didn't really like that. The location for this was very good. Location is pretty important when you have kind of one of these standalone massacre movies. I really liked the location. It was beautifully shot. The color grading and stuff was really nice. The ambiance, the backgrounds they used for this was very cool. It was a beautiful, luxurious, spacious house with lots of rooms, lots of bright colored rooms to stain with red blood. Really nice pool that they used. It was kind of a grotto pool, kind of a step-in grotto. Really nice, really good stuff here. That was done well. The casting also was done pretty well. While the acting in these things is always hit or miss, and this was a hit or miss acted thing, sometimes the acting was good, other times for me not so much. But I did love the casting they used. You really want beautiful, charismatic ladies kind of in these roles, and they cast it very well with beautiful, charismatic ladies. So you got a good job with that. One of the things I will say is that you kind of hope you're going to get one or two relatable characters in this. The characters were not likable at all, and I understand that was done by design. I'm sure Drew wrote it that way. So the characters weren't likable because you want to see them get killed later on, which is the point. But there's nobody to cheer for in this movie. The main character and all of their friends, not only are they like total bitches in character, but they also like don't have any rapport with each other at all until like the very end of the movie, when the last two ladies standing have kind of a reconnection friendship moment. There's no sign that these ladies are friends whatsoever. They all just rag on each other the entire time. And I get that friends tease each other, and that's part of the friendship when you're close with somebody. But these ladies were relentlessly mean to each other. They picked on each other's personal backstories. They dug at each other's families. They just kind of like, the exposition was kind of all poured out. It just, they just seemed very catty toward each other, and it wasn't done in a way that was like a friendship or a playful way. It almost seemed unrealistic how mean they all were toward each other, and you're like, why are these ladies friends? I mentioned the exposition. That's going to be a dislike of mine as well. The exposition was kind of all just poured out in the opening scene. Hey, this is what happened before with my brother or whatever. They just kind of gave you the backstory all at once, and then it kind of just went away. So it didn't feel very natural in the way they paced out the backstory unveiling to me. And then we kind of get to the end of the movie where there's kind of a twist to it that you kind of figure out who's behind this and why. But all in all, I know that I'm giving a lot of like thought-provoking kind of negatives. But again, this is not the kind of movie that you want to harshly judge. It is a movie where you want to get some popcorn and pizza and some wings. You want to get some good beer. You want to get your buddies over. You want to get drunk and you want to laugh. You want to watch a killer manhandle a bunch of cute ladies at a pool party, which they're not really using the pool for. I think only one lady swam the entire time. But all in all, good background, well shot, decent cast, cool kills, good gore. So for what they wanted to go for here, they accomplished it. It's not going to reinvent the wheel. It's not going to be a thinking person's movie, but it's going to be a fun splatter fest that reminds you of the Slumber Party Massacre movies. So for that, I give Drew a good score. I'm going to say this is a 6.5 out of 10 for me. I would have liked a few more things to be tightened up a little bit with dialogue and with how they paced the exposition, and maybe one or two likable characters that I think it was lacking in this movie. But all in all, 6.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. Now, before the big spoiler, to get to the ending. So if you have not seen it, pause it and go watch this movie. The big spoiler was that the main character's brother was hired by the main character, the main girl, to kill all of her friends. So they decided to kill the friends together, and one of the friends, the one surviving final girl, gets away, and the one killer is still up in the window alive. So there could be more pool party massacres coming in the future, and you know what? I hope there are. For all that it's lacking, I enjoy movies like this once in a while. It's a fun, mindless drinking movie, and I really enjoyed it. So thank you, Drew, for making this movie. And I want to say, go support this movie. More than most that I review on this channel, this is like an independent film made by a hardcore horror fan who's involved in the indie community scene. I think he's from Los Angeles, but I'm not sure. But I really enjoy when hardcore horror fans make throwback-style horror movies, so you get that 1980 feel in 2017. I hope you guys like this, and I hope you guys support Drew in his future endeavors, and I'm looking forward to see what Drew does next, and if there's going to be more Pool Party Massacres. So what do you guys think of this movie if you saw it? Tell me in the comments down below, and tell me what other indie horror films you would like me to review on this channel. Stay scared, guys. I got 2 more reviews coming up back-to-back right now. I'll see you soon.